All right. We are back, Mike and Jerry, on this lovely April 21st. Um, I'm in a lovely, lovely mood. The Rangers are up 2-0 against the Devils, and I'm just I'm just over the moon right now. Trying to contain myself, but yeah, Jerry, how are you?
I'm well. My team is Tampa Bay Lightning are going to struggle, I think, more than your team. But have you ever been in a situation where you got really excited and it didn't kind of work out for you?
Yes, all the time. And this is the part of the old me I'm trying to shake
Oh God,
because this is how I grew up this way with a very unhealthy relationship
confident.
towards winning, and I get ahead of myself and I don't prepare as well, and then then I lose. And uh,
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I'm always worried. Never can't count it. Can't count the victory until it's over with. And like after game one when we won pretty big, I was like, oh, we could still lose 4-1. So I'm Debbie Downer. You're the optimistic guy. So I just don't want to get too optimistic. I feel like the fall is harder.
it is harder. Um, I guess probably the biggest one I remember is the Yankees and the Red Sox in '04 when the Yankees are up 3-0, and I think the third game they went up to go 3-0, and Boston, they crushed them. They won, by like 10 runs or something like that. And just watching that slow motion train wreck uh, unwind, that was really bad. But
Yeah, that's like
luckily
the
I did.
that's like the markets. You close on equity highs, or your favorite trade is limit up, and closing on all time highs, and you're like, oh, this market is really strong. This is one of the strong trends. I'll add to it. No, stop. It's so it could be limit down 5 days in a row after that, and you could be at the peak and go into a big drawdown. You can't trust these markets, can't trust these teams, um, relative strength and relative performance, and it means nothing. At the bottoms, people are the most bearish, and at the tops, they're the most bullish, and it never works that way. Follow your rules, follow your system, maintain a clear head. Don't let daily price action influence you for better or for worse. Don't get pessimistic. Look at
Right.
some of these trades we've been in that are in big uptrends. They had some vicious sell-offs when we first put them on, and we just hang on to it and just see what happens. You can't predict.
No, you got to really try to, I think, shoot for the serotonin, not the dopamine. Dopamine, oh, that rush feels lovely. Even when you win, like have some beers or something, cheers with the guys, slapping five, having a great night. But you take your eye off the ball, you're reeling fast, and that's not a good position to be with. Go with the slow and steady, do your thing. Okay, we won. That's nice. Okay, but now we got to play tomorrow. You know, um, the work is never done. Uh, type of mentality, and you have to find some of that joy. I think in the all right, we won, but gotta show up tomorrow because we like that too. We like to practice. We like to get better. We don't like to admire our work for too long. I
Yeah,
think
I mean, in sports, it's way better in sports than the markets because at least when you win the championship, you've won, and they can't take it away from you, and you can
sure.
always remember that particular year. But in trading, you have a great 2022, you lose it all back in 23. It's just continual. You got this track record. No one's going to give you a gold star for a certain year. They want to see how you're going to do and how you're going to do in the future. And we're all subject to all our glory being severely damaged by the current year's market. So it's really like no sleep. You just got to retire if you want to go out on top, if you know what I mean.
Right, you have to retire. Yeah.
Which I refuse to do.
No, I know you're not doing that. Um,
Mm-mm.
well, okay. We got into it a little bit at the end of last week about mentors, teachers, coaches growing up, people that have shaped us along the way. I think, and you asked me about my experience with Ed Sakota and David Drews, when I first started, and I think I just want to take it back because with Ed and the Trading Tribe specifically, it wasn't so much Ed as I talked to Ed. He wasn't like my doctor or anything. The Trading Tribe itself was really the thing. And I know he started it with the help of a lot of other people, and they got good at uh, getting into people's patterns and fixing the behaviors in response to certain feelings that we get, and relating it all back to trading and improving and sticking with our system and all those things.
So it's a group
But
of people.
well, Ed definitely learned, I believe, this process probably going through his own group therapies and reading about this stuff as he grew up, and then as he became friends with traders and they were all started to say, yeah, my system did fine, it got on that sugar trade, I just didn't get on it. Like,
Mm.
oh, okay. And then I think Ed got to thinking about, well, why is that? Oh, it's these feelings that we get that we don't like. Oh, we were beaten down by those whipsaws, beaten down by those losses that we had, and then we got another one to take another position on a new breakout. And at that point, we were just fed up, and we couldn't take it anymore, and we didn't want to look stupid again. And it's usually some feeling that we uh, carry from childhood, or some dramatic experience that, oh, it's that we're trying to avoid. It's not necessarily the sugar trade. It's this feeling that we've been carrying. So, hey, let's unwind this. Let's say this is all this feeling is trying to protect you from. It's trying to protect you from getting yelled at by your dad or something. And getting bullied for and I'll this is one of my things, not necessarily getting bullied, but um me in school not wanting to look stupid in front of people, raising your hand to answer the question and I get it wrong and I look stupid in front of everybody. I couldn't take that risk. Hey,
Ah.
I had, I didn't want to be that guy. So I just kept my mouth shut. And my pattern as I developed, I believe, from school was this not wanting to look stupid, this shyness, and then missing the opportunity because someone else got the answer right. I'm like, damn, I knew that answer. I just didn't want to take the chance and put myself at risk of looking stupid. Okay, well, if you do that, you're gonna miss. Whether or not you realize that in the moment is another thing. But I miss, and then I'd get really pissed um, when I saw someone else get credit for it, and then I would impatiently try to make it up somehow, and trying to get back what was rightfully mine. I knew that. Okay, and then I'd compound my error by getting angry or frustrated or something, and then I'd be back at square one soon. So it was learning that, okay, you're gonna miss if you don't prepare, develop a confidence, and the answers, and then actually have the wherewithal to raise your hand, take the take that signal when you get the opportunity. And that was something that I carried through after I got injured. I believe we touched on it last week, how I got injured in baseball too. I was so afraid of getting hurt again because I had 3 surgeries and it was just a pain. It was a grind, and I was, just months and months of pain and rehab and things. And then I would develop the habit of not wanting to hump it up and put that weight on my back leg because I broke my back leg, my push off leg as a pitcher, which is really important. So that I had just envisions of my Achilles exploding and like my knee, you know, hurting my knee and all things like that. And because I always had like kind of constant Achilles pain from the way it healed, whatever. So So it's like, okay, well, you can have your nice catch, Mike. Have your nice, play catch for the rest of your life. But sooner or later, you're gonna have to actually pitch and throw it hard and trust it and take the chance. And I didn't, didn't.
Hmm.
And then, all right, well, you're 23 now. That's that. It's over. You can't play anymore. So whether I don't know whether I would have succeeded, gone further. Um, if I did, maybe not. This was a really bad injury and everything, but I don't know. Now I don't know how what would have happened. Maybe I would have had another injury. Who knows? Maybe my Achilles would have blown out, and I would have had that. But that's regretful. I'm regretful of that, and then I just started to carry that into business as well when I started the fund. And then I'd be nervous and talking to other people about the fund, like, well, let me wait until performance is really good. I don't want to like go to everybody and say this trend following thing is great, and teach them all about it, especially if they hadn't heard about it before. And then they go, all right, what's the performance? How you doing lately? And that was like a period when I started in 2011, which wasn't really great for a few years. And that was and equity markets were screaming and doing great. And again, it was like not wanting to look stupid. Well, let me just wait until I really, really, really know the answer, which is the easiest answer, and then I'll take my shot. All right, well, fine, but you're not going to get as much credit. And it was the same thing with talking to people. And if you want to make a living at this, uh, you have to talk to people with a decent amount of capital to give you, so you can trade it and earn and stuff. And you can't just live on managing $100,000, a few $100,000. You need millions of dollars
I think
to
you're pretty aggressive and outgoing now, though. So
yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think it's a prepared thing. For me, it was always being prepared. If I'm prepared, I'm confident. If I'm
Mm,
not, I'm not going to talk until I am. I'm not going
mm.
to do anything until I am. And I think in school, I hated school with the utmost passion. That I wouldn't do, in most classes, I would not prepare enough to feel confident enough. And I can still remember walking into test days, and a lot of my classes, if it was other than like math or uh, anatomy later, like the anatomy, uh, maybe it was a couple other classes here or there that I just didn't like it. And always had that anxiety feeling going in, like I know I'm fucked. I don't know the answers because I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I was home, practicing baseball or something. So um so I'm more aware of that now. So
So was the tribe like get-togethers around the country or in New York, or did you get on the phone with people to try to encourage each other?
actual in-person get-togethers, yeah, and they're all over the place, all over
Okay. So it's
the
more
country, all
about
over.
this sort of stuff rather than discussing proper breakout levels and trading strategies, but more the psychological
Yeah,
piece.
yeah. I didn't from the work I did from, I'd say, '08 through 2010. A lot of testing, a lot of experimentation, a lot of reading about this guy does it this way, we do it this way, and just thinking about it 24/7, and then actually testing things in real time and then having other friends check it as well. I just came up with so many things that worked. I'm like, all right, I'm not I'm not getting into an argument of breakouts or moving averages anymore. That's it. I'm fucking done with this. This doesn't matter. This does not matter. It's like Nike cleats or Adidas cleats. Hey, you do you. You do whatever you want. I they're cleats. They work well here. They don't work on these surfaces. Fine. But splitting hairs and getting way into the weeds about that stuff, I had no interest in it anymore. And it's only gone downhill as I've gone here. I've noticed I have no desire to talk about it because there's so many different things that work, and particular things that work within trend following. If you're obeying certain rules, that if you do it, you're improve your odds of winning over time. Um, in the short run, yes, there are better things to do than not. Yeah. Not being a shorter term breakout would have been better last year. Yeah, you're right. But I didn't know that. So, like we're going to have this discussion all the time because things are always going to be good and bad and cycling from working more effectively and not. And I don't want to get into these short term discussions. So, um, so I went to my first tribe meeting in 2011 around the spring, and I at that no, it was 2010 because I was nervous again. Here's that pattern again, not wanting to look stupid. Of I'm going to start this fund, and oh, oof, can I do this? I don't know. Am I ready? All these things, and so that experience helped me break through and say, yeah, you're ready. Let's go. Let's do it. No regret. You're going to end up how you end up feeling about baseball and not knowing, maybe, but if you didn't do it, you can't play. So you got to take this risk. You prepared. Let's try it out. Talk to some people. Do the best you can, and let's see. And I think like everyone though, your habits can grow back. And I think mine started to grow back in, I think in that second crappy period in that 2015 to 2018, it all came to a head and, right around the bottom. Ironically enough. Well, I say not so ironically enough. In around June 2018. And this is where I I had, it was kind of like floundering, like the market sucked for us and people were leaving the fund after a good like first 4 or 5 years, and then the equity markets, were screaming higher again, and people are like, I don't need this guy, out. So all those people that chased me in those good times are now leaving, and I'm like, Jesus, this fucking thing, like, come on, ugh, what am I gonna do here?
Yeah,
And
clients can really have an amazing impact. It's kind of like it doesn't matter over the years. Sometimes it didn't even matter to me um, how much someone redeemed. It was just the mere fact. I took it so personally. They don't think I'm good anymore. They don't support me. And you can really get into a bad situation if you pay too much attention to clients. In the Turtle program, we were always just told like clients are going to uh, complain. They don't know anything about trading. They're going to want you to do the wrong things, and they're going to cause you to make less money because of the pressure and the redemptions.
mhm.
Um, yeah, and so we had a real chip on our shoulder when we left there. The clients were kind of uh, not not a good part of it all, and it's mostly right, I think. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
think it could definitely get into, especially when you get, as you ramp up, you get more staff, you have more just overhead, your business gets more complicated, your personal tastes elevate as you go in life and, make more money and stuff. And you can find yourself, if you're a particular person who wants to please people, you'll wind up keeping people around who I don't think will be good for you for the long term. They'll constantly, just elevate your stress levels because they'll be dangling. Well, yeah, I'm gonna pull. Like if performance doesn't improve, I'm out. And
yeah,
you have to be able to say like, okay, see you. Like, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, Joe. I'm gonna tell you again what we do here and when it does well, when it doesn't, and just try to walk you through why we do it this way, and all that stuff. And if that's still not good enough, if they're still just all interested in performance, specifically short-term performance, you better outperform every year, or you better be close. You better be close to my other options. Otherwise, I'm out.
I think especially for us, you really want to kind of get people who love trend following. They
Right.
just
Yep.
understand it. They love it. Um, this whole idea that you need to explain it better or you need to educate people more. The first paragraph I read about trend following, taking small losses, letting profits run, I was like, oh, I wonder if the profits are going to make up for all those little losses. I mean, and I thought this is the greatest thing ever. More markets, longs and shorts. Oh, fantastic. And if you can get people who their bottom line is, this is how I think money should be managed, my wealth. I want to protect my capital. I want to pay attention to price and trends. You can't predict. You can make a lot of money just by hanging in there and when the markets are doing things they've never done before. You have these people as clients. The problem is it's like 1% of the population, or I don't know, maybe that's an overstatement. It's not many people who will fall in love with this strategy, um, but there are some, and that's
Yeah.
you can have a really nice little small business with less headaches if you sort of stick with those kind of people. Everyone else is going to pull. They don't understand, and they're seeing someone else doing it better somewhere else.
And I really think it's not just a trend following investor thing. I think it's everywhere. It's everywhere. I think even if people go into, Berkshire Hathaway, or some point oh one, 1 basis point
S&P.
fee, S&P, like they're
Yeah.
still going to go in and out because they have their own issues, and they're chasing performance, and they want something better, and their grass is always greener type thing. And I understand it, but yeah, it's really, really, really important to find and work with people who are all about you, all about what we do. We're in this together, and me and you, we invest like heavily in our own fund, and this trend following isn't just something we do for a living. This is how we think. This is it. This
Yeah.
is our life philosophy. So yeah, it's just yeah, I think it's just really important to be able to do it well. It only works if you stick to it. And if you have you have this excitable client base where, man, this guy is going to invest $100 million and tens of millions of dollars. Yeah, it's really going to be awesome. Well, be careful, because it might not. And you you don't make your business too reliant on having that investor invest. If you do, you might start to do things to appease them and not actually follow your system. You'll find ways to, yeah, you know what they need? They need more of that. They they
You know,
would be in
this
a much better
reminds
mood
me.
if.
This
Yeah.
reminds me of the TV show Billions, where they had that woman on staff who was like a psychiatrist, psychologist,
Yep.
and she was always talking to these guys, trying to keep them balanced and help them work through their issues. And I had a heavy dose of proper thinking and proper way of doing the hard things, doing the right things, the process. And when I was in the Turtle program, but I think it's ongoing. You need to, maybe that's what I'm getting out of the spaces and the podcast and the clubhouse talks, is just discussing with like-minded people, encouraging each other and how to do things, and building each other up, reminding them of what's worked and what does work. And it's an ongoing thing. You just can't get a heavy dose of that in the beginning and think, okay, I got that all squared away. I'll never have a doubt. I'll always do the trades. When I
Right.
first started, the most important rule was do the trade. If you don't buy the breakout, you're going to miss a trade, and you're going to miss an outlier. And there's nothing more important than getting all of those outliers. And so, of course, in the first week of trading, January 2nd, 1983, 84, I did like half the trades. I was like totally
Yeah.
afraid. And of what? I don't even, why would I be afraid? I was not, I was just like in a big city, and I had to pick the phone up and buy soybeans, and I was really struggling with that. And Rich asked me, like, well, how many trades do you think you should have done this week? And I said, probably like 20. He said, how many did you do? I said, like 10. And he was like, yeah, that's right. Just do the trades. That
Yeah.
meant a lot to me. I didn't get yelled at. I knew
It's
better.
invaluable. It's just
Yeah.
you can't even like, and again, I think more people think it's, well, if I only have the right tactics, the right rules, that system, Jerry's system, Rich's system, Ed's system, then I'll be good. Like, no.
And some
No.
people did twice as many trades as they should have. So some people have the opposite. They're like gung
Mm,
ho, man. I'm going to get in there, make things happen. Maybe I will follow the rules or I won't follow them, but I just want some action, and I don't want to be that person either. I'm not that
right.
person, but I want to be kind of more conservative, and the strategy that we use, in essence, it's incredibly conservative in a sense that it's really, you have to really trade irresponsibly large to get yourself into a bad situation, not follow the rules or trade way too large. And then, but trend following, moderate leverage trend following can be pretty boring most of the time. And you're going to have volatility when you have big profits on the profits. They're going to, and so the worst what can be said is, yeah, we kind of gave back too much profit, not so much that we're going to usually lose too much capital. So it's inherently conservative if you do it in the more classic way.
Yeah. And I think that was always something, you know, uh, again, like this time since '07, '08, really, back to Ed and Tribe, and reading the Tribe FAQ, and it's a lot of this just pearls of wisdom all the time. If you did this, if you recorded all your uh, either conversations on Twitter or on email with aspiring traders and people, you'd be saying the same things likely over and over and over again.
Over and over.
And
Yeah.
when you're a young person, or any person ever trying to change yourself, you, at least me, I was always a kind of a slow learner. Like, I needed to be beat over the head with it day after day, and then I won't forget it. But one time, no. And I think that's a real service too, to sort of have that, to be, for me to be reading it, reciting it, talking to myself about it all the time. You with Rich and Bill, like, do it, no problem. I understand. I've been there too. I used to not take trades too, or yeah, I did too many too sometimes. No big deal. Just go ahead. You know what to do. Here are the rules. Go ahead. And like that that's incredible, because it keeps the pressure down. Like, oh, he's not, my coach isn't getting excited.
Mhm.
I'm gonna stay. I'll stay calm too. And then I can just focus on what to do. This is what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, they would
And
always say that you're going to be judged on what you do, not the outcome. At least not initially. They gave us the systems, they told us how to trade and told us which markets to trade. All we had to do is, it was pretty easy to do exactly what they wanted you to do. Sometimes we'd all be in the back room playing ping pong, and someone would say, "Hey, we have a trade," and we'd all go to the phone and make the trade. So it's pretty easy to carry it out, but psychologically, it can be very difficult. And there's nothing more important than putting those trades on. People always say um, exits are more important. Well, exits have there's more difference in the exits than the entries. The entries are trend following. You're going to buy the 50-day breakout, buy the 60-day breakout. So it's going to be somewhat similar. But in these trailing stop exits, you can give back, get out. System one gets out quick, system two gets out later. The difference in the profits can be much different on any particular trade. But overall, over all the data, they make the same amount of money. But we can get pretty excited about you know getting out at a good time or waiting too long and giving back too much profit. So I guess to that degree, it looks like the exits are way more important. But for a trend follower, where 5% of the trades are going to be outliers and make all of your money, you really need to not miss any trades. It's the most important thing. Um, yeah, and I've done that before, and I think people ask me about taking losses. It's kind of like I have no trouble taking a small loss, and then I got to thinking about that. However, that's exactly what I didn't want to do when I didn't take a trade, which is a cardinal sin. I didn't want to take a loss on that trade. I didn't have it on, and I didn't want to take a potential loss, which is wrong-headed, right? And but once you
Yeah,
get the trade on, I mean, who has problem getting out of it? I like to cut those losses small. It's maybe getting right back in after you just got out. That's a little difficult too. And I think trend following, a lot of it does just revolve around doing the opposite of human nature, and yet we understand that, but we're doing the opposite of us because we're part of human nature. So
yeah,
it, I mean, there's nothing that helps as much as making money. You know, I just thought
sure.
Rich was like a robot. He just never wavered. He lost money. We all lost money, and it never impacted him. But I can't help it. I got an extra hop in my step on good days and good months. And boy, on bad days, I'm just like, I start thinking about that and all my other problems.
Hey, these feelings are real, and there's no shame in having them. And some people, yeah, some people do have problems with entries. Some people do have, like me, I have problems with raising my hand, but I have no problem cutting your fucking ass if you piss me off. Like, out, you know, I'll see you. Like at this party, I'll go to this party when I'm young. I'm not digging it. Out. No problem cutting it. Some people have problem cutting it, and most people have problem going. So whatever your problem is, hey, you want to have fun, you want to meet people, make friends, and have make memories and have good time and stuff. You're gonna have to go. Maybe not this one. All right, cut this one, but go. You got to go to another one or whatever. You got to do something. So,
I think one of the
um,
things that they would tell us too is they kind of insinuate like you've got the back test, and this is the system, and the back you've done the back test on this system and all these markets, and the back test is beautiful. I mean, you're going to make a ton of money, and so do it. And you're like, hell yeah. And so you don't really look at that back test so closely to see, wow, we really had some bad weeks and months and years, and we really gave back a lot of profit on some certain trades, and we really, had a lot of losses in a row sometimes. No, you don't even think about it. Then you implement the system in real time, and that's when you start to see this stuff. Like, man, this is really difficult, and you've been
yeah,
taught, hey, forget that. That's a characteristic of a very profitable system. That if you continue to do it, you're going to make a lot of money. So love everything about your system. One of the turtle questions on the true false test was, should a trader love their losses? And the answer is yes. Why?
yes,
Because the losses are part of the system. Love everything about it. It's what's going to make you and give you what you want. And yet, when you do it on a real time basis, you're not looking at the numbers like you did in that back test. And I think one of the major human biases is to make the system less stable, less robust, less even profitable in order to achieve some sort of smoothness of returns. Where the computer is like, you're great, just do this. And there's all sorts of examples of it working, and a big sell-off goes right back to the highs. So you're going to get your fair share of those. And yet, I think the most prevalent human bias in trading is, oh, that's not good enough. The sharp is not high enough. It's too bumpy. We gave back too much
mm-hmm.
profit. But it works over the long term better than anything else. I'm really concerned about this trade this week. And
yeah, yeah.
I think the past 3 years, when we've seen the benefits of this strategy, it's been so good that we got to remember this. We got to have it impact us. These positive experiences need to remind us, that hard doing the hard thing, like in all of life, doing the hard thing and with a good process and sitting with a good process, regardless of how uncomfortable it is really one of the secrets of life.
Mm.
That's the way our
That's
parents
it.
raised us. Look, I
Yep.
don't know what Johnny's doing. I know he's having fun right now, and he looks like he is cheating the system. But that's not how you're going to be raised. You're going to do what's
Nope.
right. You're going. You made a mistake. You're going to pay for it. We're not getting you out of it, and you're going to see the rewards of being a good, solid human being that treats people well and does the right thing. And you're like, okay, that's what I want to be. And you understand when you're an adult how important that is. And then that's the same thing about trading. Quit trying to find these shortcuts in trading because there's no
Yes.
safe shortcuts.
I I think another I I wasn't necessarily good. I probably was like 12 years old, seventh grade, maybe seventh. Yeah, I think it was around seventh grade, sixth, seventh grade. I went to Catholic school my entire life, and I had that was when we when they had two levels of math classes, a high upper and a lower math, and I was in the upper math, and the, the upper math, the higher math class was taught by Sister Charles, and she used to go through. It was speed math. She'd go up and down the rows, start at the desk right there in front of her, and then up and down, and she would read. She'd have her question, and she'd just go down the list, and you literally had 2 to 3 seconds, and if you did not, next. And I developed such an anxiety because I was one not prepared, and I'm like, oh fuck, I don't know the answer, and oh, she's getting to me, John, Mike, Lindsay, Jackie. Oh fuck, I'm next. Mike. You know, Nora next. I'm done. And then I just again like that built up that back to that not wanting to look stupid thing.
Oh,
That really got me.
I just
And
remember I was in the same situation. We had it was ninth grade Spanish class, and
uh,
I remember the woman's name. And we had to go up in front of the class. She asked us a question. We had to, in Spanish, we had to say the answer in Spanish. She may have been recording this as well.
oh
And
jeez.
I don't know why, but for some reason I remember this. So I think I was like the only person who did this. I walked up. She asked me the question. I was totally freaked out. There's no way I could do this in front of people. And I said, I don't know. So then she proceeded to tell me how to say, I don't know in Spanish.
Yo no.
Yo no soy.
Yo no soy. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, bummer. So I had to like slink back to my desk.
Oh yeah.
And it was, yeah, there's a lot of things in life where I
See,
really suffered because of just not wanting to be embarrassed.
yeah, those are the things. So those are the things that we carry with us, and those are the things that we work on in tribe that can help us accept that. All right, we have that feeling. We don't like to look embarrassed and feel stupid in front of people and things. Okay, what do we got to do to minimize the odds of that happening? And um, if we do feel it, what do we do that's proactive to handle it, not medicate it with, oh, I'm just going to quit this class because I hate that teacher. That's all just nonsense. Like, no, no, you're feeling really bad, about you got the question wrong. You know, the girl you liked in class now maybe thinks you're an idiot. It's not gonna like you anymore. Like, oh man, it's a lot to lose. A lot of hormones at that age. But yeah, and it was like she was like, 26 times 5, 35 times 5,
Mm.
48 times 5, and you got to
Yeah.
know. Three
Oh
seconds, you got to know.
my.
Yeah, you are fucked if
And
you don't know.
you're just sitting there going, you're in pain until she gets to you. And then
You
you're
don't
in
know what
pain.
she's gonna say.
Yeah.
She don't. You don't know what numbers it's gonna be,
Oh,
because it's
that's
not like you're following along.
oh
You're
my.
dead. You are dead. So that was the thing that really helped me. Uh, well, it came to a head where like I had to. They took me out of school for like 2 days. And I was getting so worked up. My dad, my dad took me to see Rudy. It was in the theaters then, and it was just like, you see, like, hey, uh a lot of rejection, a lot of he couldn't do it, but he stuck with it type of thing. And hey, um, don't feel so bad. Just keep at it. If you like it, keep at it. If you truly don't like it, I'm not going to force you to do it. But if you want to get good at it, you want to do it, like just keep at it. And that was like a good movie to for me to like, okay, yeah, all right, I'm gonna get this.
Oh, that's great
And
that
then I
your
got
dad did that. That's great
yeah,
that
yeah,
he saw that. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
He was really good with that stuff. And
Let's switch
Sister
to
Charles,
let's talk about our. I was just thinking like Seinfeld. Like one of the things about Seinfeld that was really cool. Obviously great jokes, and we love that show. I've watched it so many times over the years with my children, and but one of the things I loved about it is that he just was happy-go-lucky, and he kind of like fell into making billions of dollars. But
yeah,
I definitely believe him when he says he just wanted to be stand up, and he wanted that lifestyle of stand up. And I think that was such a freeing thing. And I know a couple of episodes they make fun of people on Wall Street, bulls, bears.
people
That
from
that
Connecticut.
that scene was so funny. But I think the way I do the trading, the trend following, I feel the same way. Kind of is that I'm not interested in having this big, huge business. I don't want to keep adding things to my systems. I don't want to make them more complicated. I don't want to have it's almost like an individual strategy and style. It's probably not that suited for um, this big business, and I think that's why most of the big trading businesses they do other things or they adjust the trend following to a degree. We've got all these PhDs. We have to have them. We have to have that. We have to show people that we're really trying to change things and evolve and make it better. And I'm like, I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in all that complexity. I just want to be a trader. I want to sit at my desk at 8 until
Yeah,
4, and I'm going to have more volatility, more ups and downs, drawdowns. But I can make money at this. And hey, I hit a big trend. I make a lot of money. That's great. But then if it doesn't keep going, I'll just revert back to, trading for my friends and my family and myself. And just really, it's just so doable. And I think so many people realize that. Um, and I think that's just a great way to go about life is to, you've got to make money, you got to provide for your family, but you want to have a good quality of life as well. Psychologically, you want to have a good quality of life.
yeah,
Um, People just, employees and clients, I just wasn't suited for that as well as other people. Running a
yeah,
business is really hard. It's as hard as trading. And the firms who have lots of AUM, they spend a lot of time on running a business properly, probably as much as they do on better trading. What do you think?
yeah. Hats off to them. That's what they want. That's the system that works for them. And I think we have a system that works for us. And uh, we could do our best this way. I think we care. We have like they probably have their whether they think about it like this, but a pie chart with we have our business, we have our fun, we have our health and our family and our all these things that are important to us. And a lot of people I think are deficient in a lot of areas or some key areas, and they're over optimized. All right, to bring it back to a trading term as well in other areas. And you can fractal that down like, okay, we're over optimizing our business, and then we over optimize in our strategy, and then we over optimize in our client. And you make it weaker and weaker and weaker because this is what you see it as a puzzle. You see trading as a puzzle. You see business as something to win and get clients. Like I never thought about getting clients. Like these are people. These are guys who like me. I like them, and we try to make a lot of money. It's not like we're trying to win the market share or this type of talk where it's like a war. Like some people think like that, and hey, you want to dominate it, go ahead. But
Oh yeah,
um,
I was always running up against people who had some sort of AUM in mind, and how do we make this work for me? And I was like, "Don't you love trend following?" And they no. I mean, if you're gonna help me raise a lot of money, if you're going to help me, then great. But I'm not going to be this devoted to trend following. And I was like, oh, that's sad because that's what I'm. That's like my intellectual pursuit is how do we make this better? How do we keep it robust? And how do we have fun trading this stuff and all of that other stuff? I was so bad at because I just had too much fun. To some degree, it's probably like playing golf. You just love golf and you want to play, and you got these handlers over here who are talking to you about the business side of it and how to maximize that. And you're just like, oh gosh, can I just play golf all the time? And that's my
Yeah.
passion. And so, naturally not going to be as good. Um, I had a short period where I had a really successful large firm, but it just was not able to last. You can't I got lucky, and you just can't rely on luck all the time. It is a job. I went to a great business school, but I got my personality, and then I got a whiff of trading. We get there at 7:30. The market's closed at 2, and we made money, and it was intellectual, but not crazy, um, life disrupting. And once you get a hold of that, you're just like, oh, that's what I want to do. I don't want this other
I,
stuff. Yeah.
but I think, yeah, I mean, Seinfeld's one. Yeah, he's just one of my idols. In the top five for sure for me. And supposedly there's a debate. Like, there's people who actually think, God, Ted Lasso is a better show than Seinfeld. Like, all right, no, no, no. Like,
Oh
this
yeah,
is really insulting to
yeah.
me.
People
Um,
people ask me about Ted Lasso, and I love Ted Lasso. I mean, and so they asked me about it, and I'm like, okay. And one thing that never pops into my head is any similarity to Seinfeld, because it's quite a little bit maybe of the opposite. Because Seinfeld, part of the Seinfeld show was that they are not good people, right? They're
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like
yeah,
not
yes.
good people. It's a show, okay, not Jerry Seinfeld himself, but
It was parody. It was parody. They knew they were bad people, and they wrote it like that.
right, okay.
Yeah.
But Ted Lasso is like Jesus. He's the
Mm-hmm.
nicest guy on the planet. When people are
Yeah.
going crazy around him and getting angry, he brings them all back to love and acceptance. And this person needs our understanding even now, even though they're misbehaving. So he's this great guy. And when I watch it, I get a little chill bumps and I get a little
Oh.
nostalgic and maybe teary because he's such a
Mm.
great guy. And you got to remember to love your family and friends and people you don't even know. But man, he is nothing like Seinfeld. And it's not quite as funny as Seinfeld either. So I don't get that analogy to Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
Not
But I
not
love
nowhere
Ted.
near as
Yeah.
funny.
No.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, and I remember uh, uh an interview with Seinfeld. He said, "I'm never not working on material. That's all he cares about is to make jokes and to deliver them and to make people laugh. That's it. That's what he loves to do." Um, and I think he's not confused about what he wants. That he is very crystal clear about what he likes and what he wants to do with his life, and what he wants to do with his days, how he wants to spend his days.
Right. So
And I think some people are, yeah.
it's
Go ahead.
back to what we were saying, and that is he he says it because he is not overwhelmed by the possible money he can make by not being himself. Now, it's
Right.
easy for him to
Yes.
say now, but I think to a large degree, he got to where he is by this process of making people, by concentrating on making himself better and making people
Yes.
funny. And look what he falls into,
Of
a
course.
great
But you
opportunity.
that's like the odds. That's improve your odds of getting lucky like that. If you
Exactly.
don't, you you don't get lucky like that because
Right.
you're all over the place. You're scatterbrained. You're jumping. You're system jumping. You're jumping from one
Yeah.
stock to another, one
Yeah.
system, one fund to
Right.
another. You're all
Right.
over the place.
Right. And I just feel a responsibility to behave correctly with the knowledge that I was given, and to do the right things with it and not to sell it out and pollute it with ideas that might be more palatable to building a client base than it is to honestly good trading. And I will change in a heartbeat. I mean, I want to win. I want to have good performance. I want to have relatively good performance with my peers and not screw that up. But I'm not going
Yeah.
to change it and water it down in order to try to convince myself I'm doing it because clients want me to do it. It's like a doctor. You want to go to a doctor who is going to agree that it's okay for if you want to lose weight to keep eating chocolate cake. Yeah, you'll
Mm,
get a lot more clients, but it doesn't.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, can't do it.
Not interested in that. That's
No.
not fun.
Mm-mm.
Uh, okay. I think we're at the 50-minute mark. I think
Yeah, it's almost like part one and part two.
yeah, I
If you
think
split it up.
we could. Um,
Have you had any?
but
How much good feedback have you had from people? Uh, you getting any feedback on people that like this and think it's interesting? I got a little bit of
yeah, I think
feedback. Yeah.
yeah, people love the discussion. I think they like to hear the the more maybe human side too.
Mhm.
We could sit here and talk about systems all day, but I think that's beaten down. I think there's a lot of talk, and we will talk about other like more market things as well. Like, hey, let's check in on the markets and give like kind of a overview what's going on, what we're seeing, and type of thing. But I wanted to be more than just talking about trading X's and O's and the markets X's and O's, and you know give some of our experience and how we like to think about things, how we not even just related to markets. And I think people seem to like it so far. You know, hopefully we can keep coming up with things to talk about.
Yeah.
But
One of the things is that we should encourage people to give us questions. And then we could also,
yes,
I wouldn't rule out the possibility that we could kind of interview some people. That'd be kind of fun.
yeah,
Um,
we'll do that,
yeah.
and not just maybe not just like trend following people either. We could talk to other, yeah, maybe some other people, another maybe we'll get Seinfeld on here. I don't know.
Well, um, yeah, because so many times I listen to podcasts and I have like four follow up questions. I'm like, damn, I wish I had asked this person this particular question, but I'm not so sure that our podcast is going to fit in with some of the same people who are more serious about business versus just maybe people who are more philosophical about trading. Individual guys who are and girls
Yeah,
who are just sort of interested in that stuff. But yeah, it's been fun. Have a good weekend.
you too, sir. Good luck to the Lightning. Go Rangers. And I'll see you next week, right? See you at
Yeah,
the CMT in New York.
CMT
We'll
Thursdays.
have some fun
Yep.
Thursday. Yeah, we got a nice dinner on Wednesday,
Yeah,
or maybe
yeah.
Thursday, whatever day
Wednesday.
it is. I'm not
Wednesday
sure yet.
dinner.
Wednesday dinner.
Yeah.
All right,
All
sir.
right.
See you next week.
Yep. Same here. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.